Welcome to LSD, Life Song and Death podcast, where I, Kaylee Smith, talk to folks about the most psychedelic trip called the human existence. Today, I have a graphic designer on here in Richmond. His name is Amir, and we were just talking about how you came from a big family, extended family, and then was your mom from
So
New
my
York as well?
my whole family's from New York. I was
Okay.
born in New York. And like I think the funny thing about like you hear that a lot in Virginia too, like when I was growing up. Um in the 90s New York was bad. Like my family's from the Bronx.
Oh yeah.
And the Bronx was like is like still historically like one of the poor like one of the most downtrodden boroughs in the city. And so you get a bad rep, and my parents went to move us out of there, and I hear a lot of that story in my peers. But I say that to say that moving to Virginia, my parents didn't really have like a foundation; they were setting one.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that growing up. I made that made you want me to stop?
No, keep going.
But that made me realize that like I had my own journey, and I was fortunate enough to also be an artist. An artist is a journey in itself, and like I didn't have to lean on just being just that one story. Like my art journey picked me up and carried me the rest of my life, rather than like, oh, I'm a New Yorker, I'm living in Virginia.
Yeah.
That's a lot of story that you get from New Yorkers that moved to Virginia because of that time period. At least that's what I hear.
Mm-hmm.
But I said all that to say like my mom wanted a big family because she wanted us to not have to like she comes from a big family, and she wanted us to not have to like worrying about friends, worrying about um who to go to for this and that. And so I have two brothers. I'm a middle child. And like I don't know where I'd be without my older brother, younger brother. They're my business partners. They're my mentors. They're my management team. They help me out tremendously. So like I like that. That's a big point from being a family that's like laying a foundation. You need to like lean on like who you have.
Yeah. What were the age differences?
So my older brother is 33. I'm 31. He's 32 actually. I'm 31. I'm 30. No, he's 34.
Oh, he's gonna call you out now.
He's gonna call me out now. See, we're like that. That's what tell you. My younger brother's 29. Me
Yeah.
and my younger brother, we're like close. Like people call us twins sometimes. Like we're like he's in the Air Force Reserve.
Oh,
He's
thank
my
you.
business partner in our clothing brand, and he's just like a solid, like he's like a stud. So like he don't
Mhm.
have to like he like kind of coast through life with just like being like athletic, being a good dude. Whereas like what his next journey is like learning business, learning how to work with me as entrepreneurship. Because personally, I've been an entrepreneur. I say since I was young, like since I was a kid. Like I would draw um tattoos for people. I would draw.
Damn.
Before that, I drew my elementary school cover and back for our yearbook.
That's
Um,
cool.
I just like different things that I never realized I was being hired to do in a
Yeah.
sense. And then like after once I did 1 year of college, I went to college at Old Dominion University.
Uh-huh.
Um, I got a job working for the school. I got a job working for the football team, and I also worked for peers, and I also worked for people around the the campus. And it taught me like this shit is making millions of dollars.
Yup.
And I'm helping people. Like my designs are on what we call the web center at ODU. It's like our main commons, and it was there, and I'm like, this is making the school millions of dollars, and I designed this,
Yeah.
so that's where entrepreneurship became like clear to me.
Yeah.
But I say before that I was always like kind of like trying to hustle my art a little bit, like trying to find ways to do work for people that that would make them happy, and kind of lay a foundation for them for whatever they're trying to achieve. And that right there reigns true today. My business, Curbside Branding and Design, is about helping people lay foundations. Curbside came about, and I don't know if this is a question you're gonna ask or not, but Curbside came about basically because I left ODU in
And
2016.
you went to a cafe.
Yeah. And there is Curbside Cafe. Shout out to Curbside Cafe in
Yeah.
Richmond. But we don't have we're not in any ties. But I'd love to do a collab or something like that. I'm definitely gonna approach them. We started that because I wanted to be the mom and pop like bakery
Mm-hmm.
for my people in a sense. I know that like 2016 or 2015 in those times there was like an influx of like people learning how to be an entrepreneur,
Okay.
like start your own business, post it on Instagram, t-shirts, whatever.
And to
I
be
did.
clear, when you say your people, what do you mean by that?
So African Americans.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I
Just want to
definitely
make
mean,
sure.
yeah.
You know, it
So
was like entrepreneurs. Cool.
I advocate a lot for African Americans because I feel like a lot of African Americans have a chip. We have a chip. Black people, we have a chip on our shoulder.
Yeah.
In this country,
Understandably.
and we're coming from like, it's like you're running the race, but you started in third place.
Totally.
You know, and so like,
Or even probably even farther back, I would say.
I'm being very very generous.
Yeah.
But
I won't be.
The point is that ignorance is bliss.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of times, when I was in my art journey, a lot of my peers would be like, "Hey, let's flip this logo into my brand. Like I want my brand to be Supreme logo, so put it in a red box." And I was teaching people. I found that I was teaching people like that's not a foundation for a business that you can grow to be successful as Supreme.
Okay.
You're trying to mimic a design that you saw because it's successful and you see it makes money.
Yep.
But what you really need is a blueprint, a foundation to like grow your own to compete with that. A lot of times today, we spend our money on businesses that we didn't start,
Right.
you know, and that don't help fund anything that we're trying to do. So part of Curbside is being that like available piece, like a neighborhood component. I'm the first one in, the last one out of the bakery. Make sure you have what you want. I'm not charging you an arm and a leg. I'm making sure that like the family's fed.
Yeah.
That's really all I care about.
That's
you know?
amazing.
And so like empathy is a big part of like my business and who I am as an artist and as just a person. Like I feel a lot for my people and I feel a lot for my family and I feel a lot for the people of the like honestly just people today because it's not like we need each other. You know, I heard a quote recently. It's a guy, I think his name is Derek something. He owns like a bakery in New York, and he said, "Enough is enough because we don't have enough." And that mean a lot to me because
Yup.
we could complain, we could go fight each other, we could talk about this, talk about that, like we could advocate for rights here and there, but like what is everyone doing to like push the agenda forward as far as like us growing and cultivating healthy, you know, living
Totally.
on this earth, you know?
From people to people too. Like
I'm also very long-winded, so you could
dude.
tell me like shut up and ask me a question. if you
No,
need
this
to.
is free form conversation.
Well,
So
good.
it's you can talk for the whole hour, and I'll sit here and go,
Yeah.
I'm good with that. So, but
yeah.
yes. So you picked up art when did you pick it up from like just
I can't
naturally?
Remember. I can't remember.
You can't
Yeah,
remember.
like,
Okay.
I've been drawing since I've known how to see.
Oh wow.
Like it's been a natural thing. When I was in elementary school, I used to draw flowers.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably because like in art, like I feel as though I'm a trained artist.
Mm-hmm.
I've done art history. I've been to college. I've done AP art history classes. So like I understand like some of the elements and principles in art and design and how that's applied through visual language and, you know, even language, even writing.
Yep.
Like the English language is an art form that had to be created for people to be able to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
So like just like now things like that becoming clear to me helped me understand myself as a kid. Like I'm trying to communicate, but I don't know how to write it. I don't know how to say it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just drawing what I see and what I think and what I feel. And so like I used to draw a lot of flowers and hand them to girls in the class and
Yeah.
just do different shit.
Yeah.
That was me being early expressive. Like that's me. That's like writing a love letter. That's like Mother's Day. Like historically on Mother's Day, I would paint something for my mom and give it to her, and she would
Amazing.
frame it, and things like that. So I just say like art is like so underrated, and it comes to like it's kind of like writing when you're a kid. Like it kind of gets overshadowed, overlooked because they put it in a department. They make you think it's like an elective thing.
Yeah.
Like writing in language is an art.
I mean, that reminds me of like hieroglyphics too. And so
Exactly.
it's like
Exactly. But you don't get taught that way. You don't
Right.
get it taught that way. You don't get taught that like we're doing art as we write our letter forms.
Right.
You don't get it taught like that. You're just told like this is how we do things. And so later in life I really found the value in artwork and me as an artist. At the same time I learned what design was.
Okay.
And so there's art and there's design.
Okay.
Art is like people will hire you for your style, your specific, the way you draw things, and then design is like puzzle pieces. You have business cards, you have logos, you have signage, and all these things need to be cohesive. All these things need to make sense. They could be as simple, or they could be completely crazy, but there needs to be a system involved so that like design helps the world run. Design helps business and marketing and sales and things like that. Art is just to be appreciated.
So art's like more your stylistic, and design is the functionality of it.
Exactly.
Got it.
And not only that, art and design is like yin and yang.
Yeah.
Like I say, language is an art, but we've built so heavily on the foundational side of like writing letter forms that we forget that we're drawing.
Yeah.
Like when you do it.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, and then maybe that's getting lost too with like typing things, AI and things like that. But I don't think it could ever be lost. We study history so that like we don't repeat itself. We still study history though. It's not lost. It just exists. It's a part of who we are.
Yeah.
And at the very ground level, we'll still need to understand it and still need to like push forward in it. Like you study wars and revolutions and things like that. Just because that war's not happening now doesn't mean they don't study strategies of the war. They don't study it.
Definitely.
So it's the same way in business, same way in art and design. Like you gotta kind of like learn about yourself, learn about the industry, learn about the world, and then at those same times, those things come together for like to find yourself, help you find yourself, and help you find your footing in that middle ground. I'm speaking to like artists. Specifically, but like people in general can learn to appreciate this and learn to apply it in their business or in their day-to-day life,
And I have read a book from an amazing person, and he was talking about how art can be is the ply. You don't even necessarily have to be an artist, but you can be an art by creating spreadsheets or. Yeah. And it's like you're applying your stylistic to whatever thing that you're doing. And like my ex-girlfriend, she was amazing at making spreadsheets. Yeah. And she prided herself on making spreadsheets and all this stuff and like the ins and outs and all. And I'm like, damn, it's crazy how like someone can be so detailed and focused on just like the whatever you're doing. And it's
and
amazing.
Don't get me wrong. Everyone's not like that.
Right.
There's like people that like that like don't care about that,
right.
Like that don't pay attention to that. It's not a necessity to them, and that's not a problem either. Like I'm specifically speaking to people who like have passion.
Yeah.
Purpose and passion like kind of are like, they have synergy, and then sometimes they don't. Like if you find that your purpose, you have a passion behind it, you might get angry, you know what I'm saying, behind it. Versus some people like, I get up, I go build shit, and I go home. Like you're not getting angry about that. You're just going home and paying the bills, and that fulfills you too. And that's nothing wrong with that. I was speaking to specifically people who like get extra passionate about what they do, get extra passionate about people and life and things like that. And you should find passion in life. But sometimes that doesn't align with like art.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I would think it's a sad thing. Like if
Yeah,
if you just
we're
going,
biased. I'm
yeah,
biased.
yeah, I mean, it's a sad thing. Yeah, we're both biased for sure. Yeah, if you're going through life just doing the 9 to 5, but apparently, I mean, I don't get it because that's why I have you on the podcast.
Yo,
But I don't
and
get it.
I've been a struggling artist before, so like sometimes
Yeah,
I've been jealous of those people who are like, I don't give a fuck. I'm waking up, go
yeah,
do this shit, and I'm go home.
yeah,
So like, yeah, like I mean, there's a balance in it.
yeah,
I'm 31. I'm still finding it. You know, like I find that even now, like I see myself wearing new hats that I never see myself wearing. I'll say that like when I got my LLC, I got my first client in 2016. This was like a dream come true.
yeah,
Like this was like I felt like life was fulfilled almost. You
yeah.
know,
You're
like
like, I could
I can't
die.
imagine what. Yeah, like I'm done now. Like what else is there? Like I get more clients. I just do this shit again. Like
Yeah,
now, like almost 10 years in that game, like I realized like first of all, I have so many like I have so much work in the city of Richmond, up and down the East Coast, and in the world that like people like pass by on a daily, hundreds of people.
mm-hmm.
Like I feel like I've left my stamp on the earth and the world and people like at this time period. But then now time has passed, and so I keep wanting to find new ways to do that. But my legacy now, I want my legacy to be like to continue to grow even when I'm not like putting on to it. So I'm working on like educational systems. I'm working on, you know, I have a second designer now, like just different things that I can do to like help the growth of what I leave behind.
Yeah,
Like I leave behind work already. So it's like now seeing myself wear new hats, being manager, being um like right now I want to start so I'm going to give a shout out to Center. It's in Richmond, Virginia. It's 318 West Broad Street. It's an event space. Um my business Curbside Branding and Design does consulting for the event space, and what that means is like as a branding studio, a
mm-hmm.
branding agency, we help curate some of the events. We help the artists that come through our doors. We help the event space itself um, just grow in its purpose, you
Yeah,
know, in its visual communication. Um, and so my next hat is like leveraging that, figuring out ways to like bring that in. I never thought of that because I had already been just doing like client work, client
right.
work, client work. Now it's like I want to help like automate the client work and help get other people doing more client work, you know, and doing and valuing their work and capitalizing on deals and creating bosses and creating entrepreneurs and creating artists. So so I say that to say like it's like not linear. You know, I mean it's not it's there's no like one goal that I'm trying to accomplish. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like they compound as you start to like like complete them. You know, you start to find like, oh, this goal's not this goal doesn't end. And now I feel I should do this on
Right.
top of that, you know.
Yep. If you have the ability now that you have offset some of the work to other designers, you can transition into other
And
things,
they know
which is
they have a good litmus test on what's good and what's not good now based on the work that I've done and me being trained as a designer, not just like on the internet. That's something I think is like I think imposter syndrome is going to be more prevalent in our in tomorrow
mm-hmm.
because everybody's like the education system's getting watered down and the self-taught system is getting watered down, so it's like you're teaching yourself how to do what you see,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't know the ins and outs of like running a business and like for a full year,
Right.
you know. And so like that's where I come in to be able to be a factor to life. You know, like
Yeah, because you've had the experience for 10
I've
years.
had the experience,
Yeah.
and I'm not done yet. I still have more to go. You
Right.
know, so yeah, that's kind of my new journey as far as like the stamp I want to leave on life and designers, young artists, and things like that. Um, circling back to like just me being a black designer in America. Like I already I come from like playing sports. I come
Okay.
from like, I'll get like kind of idealistic here. Like what we're sold as like black people, like you can be a athlete, you can be a musician, or you can be like a drug dealer. You can, you know, there's
Yeah.
those
Like,
things, those
like
three things.
that's
That's it.
about
That's
it.
really it.
Yeah.
Those three things is like lit. and then
Mm-hmm.
everything else is like square. You
Uh-huh.
know what I'm saying? So like,
Wow.
so I am the new like version of what's not square to
Mm-hmm.
do something to people. And so like I just keep wanting to like show people how cool it is to like be like what you want to be, you know, and like study it, learn it, like be smart, you know, carry yourself like differently,
Yep.
you know, and that's a journey because I don't have a person I'm modeling myself after.
Right.
I'm doing it so that the next people behind me like understand this is how you that guy's cool and I could do that.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah, you're paving the path so they can run.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and try to make a little money at the same
That
time
that
if I
helps.
can. Yeah,
Yep, that
if I can
helps.
make a little bit of money, like I don't get NBA contract money, but
Yeah.
I'm trying. I'm shooting for that.
Yeah.
So if there's millionaire investors watching,
Yeah.
you know,
Hit us both up.
hit me up. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll
sure.
for
My
talk to
link will be in the
anybody.
bio or something.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, your link will definitely be in the bio for sure.
Good.
Yeah, so let's go back to New York.
Mm-hmm.
Um you obviously said that you didn't see people, you're not modeling yourself after anybody. And you started just drawing from out of the box basically, no pun intended. The but did you in the Bronx where they're like graffiti and things like that you like inspired your style off? Because I don't know anything. I haven't seen any of your work. I haven't. We just met, and then
Yeah,
I was like, hey,
yeah.
you're sound like an awesome person to talk to. So
That's yeah, yeah, and
so
that's
so
beautiful.
did you base your so is some of your like inspiration from things you saw around in the neighborhood, or is it more of just like
I would say like as an adult, yeah, I can see how all of my experience shaped me and
mm-hmm,
like uh influence what I would put on paper. But early on, no, I would just think like I think that it was like I was still like a kid, a baby when we moved to Richmond. So I didn't exactly I wasn't raised in New York.
oh
Yeah,
okay,
so like my family are New Yorkers
uh-huh,
and I'm raised here in Richmond.
got it, okay,
And so it taught me how to uh uh communicate, maneuver those two worlds.
mm-hmm,
And so I didn't I didn't really feel a strong foundation in either one. You know, like I felt like
right,
kind of like just myself, which I think that's where like individualism and being an artist and being confident in it came from.
totally,
So yeah, like the graffiti and like I've early some of my artwork is early as graffiti and things like that. But like it's hard to say no because like there's just certain styles you get shown and pushed to as a
yep,
kid and you start to mimic that. Like even anime, like I used to get comics or like Marvel comics or I watched Dragon Ball Z.
yeah,
I would try to draw these characters as a kid just to like, test myself and see if I could draw like that. And I don't think it was like a I don't think I really I think I just now like in my 30s started to find my style as an
oh,
artist.
cool,
You know, I never really identify like this what I do, this what I do,
right,
which I think design put a buffer in that too. You know, like I became so good at doing client work and
mm-hmm,
work for other people that like I couldn't even recognize my style and my work. And I'll show you now because now I've recognized
yeah,
I've recognized where my style is and what it is that I bring to the table as an artist versus like being a designer. But to answer your question, no, I think like it was more so just like not identifying with anyone
right.
that kind of helped me like just get my thoughts and whatever on paper.
So that's like it gives you all right, let me start that over.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's like,
yeah.
yeah. So that really helped inspire, not really inspire, but it was like revealing of like your entrepreneurship because like there's some people like towns have their pride and they're like, I'm from Atlanta or I'm from
Yeah,
Philly
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
this is
yeah.
what I do and this is who we are. And but because you were navigating both worlds of Richmond and the Bronx in New York City, which are very different places.
Very different places, and both
And
have
so
strong like like I would assume most places have like people that are from there feel strongly about there.
yeah.
The Bronx is like the birthplace of hip hop. Like
Mhm.
there's like a lot of like stories that come out of the Bronx. Richmond, I grew up in Richmond with people that will tell you what side of town they're from. People will tell you like how big and important things are, and it's like I didn't grow up with that,
Right.
and I grew up with my stuff, my
Hmm.
shit, and I think you're right. Like even today, like I go through like periods or emotions like where I'm like wow, that's kind of what built me.
Right.
Like not
Yeah.
being so this way or that way, not being on one side of the fence, being able to appreciate both or being able to like isolate and just be myself. And to this day, like I'm a solopreneur. Like I do have a second designer. I do collaborate and work with other people, but like this is a journey that I'm on myself,
Yeah.
like and I wouldn't trade it in for like uh I don't know how not to do that. I
Hmm.
don't know how to like I feel like getting a job fucking I don't know, cutting grass is like bending the knee. But I say that to say like also doing what you have to do is like important, and I've grown to understand that. But I've been fortunate enough to like focus on my business so well and work on my business so well that I have recurring clients. I get business through word of mouth, and I'm able to like pay bills and do things, because I've spent the time doing it. But
Word of mouth is the best advertisement. It's crazy. Like my dad, he has a landscaping company, which is ironic. You just said cutting grass, but sorry, Dad.
yeah,
He's not.
yeah.
You're not
No,
bending.
no,
You're
no,
busting
no.
your ass out
Trust me, I
there.
still cut grass. Like I'm still cutting my mom's grass.
Yeah,
I'm still
that's
doing
awesome.
shit.
Yeah,
So
but
it's
he
not
he
not no
has.
slight against that.
Yeah, but my entire life he's done landscaping,
Yeah.
and I was about 10 when he stopped his working for someone else and just took on full time 10ish. I can't remember the exact date, but so for like the past like 20 years he's been full time. And like he was just telling me the other day, like he's like, I'm working 6 days a week full time and I'm turning down, people are still wanting me to do work, and it's like he hasn't done an advertisement for his entire 20 years,
Yeah, word
just
of mouth.
because the word of mouth is also, you have to be really good at what you do.
You do. You have to be good, or you have to be able to realize like if I'm not good, I need to market more.
Yeah, 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 and then follow up with on your what you say you're gonna do, and that's but obviously he's really good at what he does, and he's been doing it for my whole life, and he's knowledgeable. But it's exactly what you were saying. Like word of mouth is so key. The so when you went to school at ODU, was it for art and design?
Yes, for graphic design.
Graphic design.
I'll
Okay.
back up a little bit.
Yeah.
Traditionally, I was an athlete.
Okay.
I played football. I played cornerback. I started
You're quick.
very quick. I ran track.
Oh wow.
I
Okay.
competed in every event in track.
Dang.
Prior to that, I played basketball my whole life. I played
Yeah.
travel basketball, AAU basketball, and I'm still to this day a referee.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and when I went to college, I picked up refereeing, and I referee every sport. Like I referee soccer, flag football, basketball, floor hockey, volleyball. I could referee a sport if you throw it my way. But I still referee basketball, because I played basketball growing up. Um, and I say that to say like that was what I thought was gonna bring me the bacon.
Right. Which is what
And
you were saying earlier.
yeah,
It's those
and so
three stereotypes.
you just literally get
Yeah.
like before you are conscious enough to decide for yourself,
Yep.
you're already in it. You're already thinking like I'm gonna be a basketball player or I fucking suck.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and so like that's where I was prior to college. Like most of my friends didn't go to college.
Oh.
Like I'm the only one of my friends that went to college, and I went on a partial scholarship. And I attribute that to my mom because Like she made sure I was like smart too.
Yeah.
You know, like she just made sure like I was gonna do like I was good at math, and maybe I'm also just naturally gifted in that way. Like I've
Mm-hmm.
done advanced classes, AP classes in art history and things like that. So I got a partial scholarship to ODU, but I also had like offers from like D3 colleges, things like that, to play football. I played basketball, and I just decided like I needed to pursue what I thought would be my future.
Right.
And graphic design, it was scary for real. Like as a young black kid, you think like I work hard, and I'm starting, and I'm good, so I'm being praised,
Yep.
and so I'm gonna be this. You know, I'm gonna be an athlete. I'm gonna be, you know, that. Or you get sold like the other side of that, which is like just being popular and being somebody who can influence people.
Yep.
You might sell drugs. You might uh, party promote. You know, there's like different things that like you get sold. Whereas like nobody, I didn't have any artists around me that were older than me that I saw making a living, being an
Mm-hmm.
artist and doing it. So like that was scary. Like going to college and being like, you know what? Literally, this is what I did. I was like, I got partial scholarship from ODU, and I'm like, my older brother goes to ODU, so that's cool. But he's like in his 4th year. I think he's gonna do 2 more years. He did 6 years total, and that's not a slight to him because I seen him really like.
He must really like Norfolk.
I seen him grind. I seen him grind, man. Like he helped me out so much. Like being able to experience part of college before like I got too engulfed in it.
Right.
And like he like was like served as a martyr in ways for me in my life to like not go through certain shit. So like he did do many years in college, and he's super successful now. You know, so like I commend him on that. But at the same time, like my journey was different. I felt like I was like I'm going from being a star athlete to like what do I do now? You know, I'm starting from scratch as a designer and artist, but I'm not really starting from scratch because people are paying me to draw their tattoos and
Right.
draw certain things, and I'm just traditionally an artist, like pencil and paper, and I didn't know what graphic design was, so I looked up graphic design. It's my senior year when I'm like, it's like crunch time, like pick a school. I'm thinking like, all right, I'm probably gonna go to ODU, but what am I gonna study? And I looked up and I seen graphic design can make like 70,000, 75,000 a year. It's not bad.
Not bad.
You know,
Yeah.
like I was like, I don't want to hustle art.
Yeah.
I'm a great artist. Like I felt great. Like I never had a problem being like getting good grades as an artist. And let me answer this. Sorry.
No problem.
Yeah, but I said all of that to say like when I was going to transition from high school to college, I started to realize like art and design. I started realizing what actually art and design was, and design seemed like design came easy to me because I was so good at art.
Mm-hmm.
Me drawing, I'm an artist traditionally. I can draw. I brought some sketches. Like I brought a sketchbook. Obviously,
yeah.
I keep a sketchbook on me, but to give you like an idea, part of my drawing abilities was drawing one thing, but then being able to draw small things, like
Oh wow.
yeah. So being able to draw ideas very small, being able to draw ideas tight, concise, that also get to the point. I started practicing that as a designer. I'll show you another one. This is it's for a rebrand as we're doing in Richmond. It's a pizza bar called Ironclad.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So Whole Street, yeah. So we're
Heck
doing
yeah.
we did a rebrand for them, local design and menus and things like that. But we're also doing some T-shirt graphics, and so
These are dope.
thank you.
Yeah.
Being an artist and then learning about business was like the best thing that could have happened to me, because I realized like you as an artist, you're expendable. Like people will love you or hate you, and they're like, that's it.
That's it.
It's literally black and white.
Yep.
But as a designer, that shit's happening every day. It's happening. People are doing it themselves and are not doing it well. You know, like so
Yeah.
like you have to step in and say, hey, like I can actually draw. let's do a T-shirt that's not just like simple your logo. Let's put some graphics on there. Let's put something funny on there, fun, and the journey is like learning how to do that better. You
Hmm.
know, like learning how to like learn people, learning the trends of the economy. You know, and then building it out like that. So that's kind of how this what I realized from high school to college. Like I need to take my drawing abilities and feed people like this.
Right.
And the first few client they were not like this. They didn't look like this.
Yeah.
They sucked. The first few things that I did, it was just they were trash.
Yeah.
If I look back at them now, but I appreciate the journey. You know, I appreciate where I was in my understanding because like I was trying to like educate people. You know, as a person who was still being taught, and now I feel like I've done enough to where like now I'm educating other designers. Now I'm educating business owners
Hmm.
on like what they're not doing well. Um, Now I'm overloading myself
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
projects. Yeah, but it's fun. Like I wouldn't trade what I do in for anything.
You know, one business in Richmond that hasn't changed since I like their design hasn't changed in since I can remember. It's like when I was a child. Their sandwiches must be so damn good. Is Mr. Submarine at
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
on
I've seen Mr. Submarine. Yeah,
Broad Street
yeah,
in Melbourne? I was
yeah.
just like,
They have
dang, that place has not changed one damn bit, and it still has people wrapped around the building at rush hour every single day. And
Well, you
I'm
know,
like,
people like
dang,
people have a thing for like it's like that Boulevard Burger place.
yeah,
Like they have like a thing for like retro and
mm-hmm.
um typography plays a big part in that. And like again, typography is like
Yeah, I was about to ask. I was like, what is
fonts.
that?
Yeah,
Okay,
so typography means like the study of fonts, like letter forms, things like that. So you have font families, you have differences in fonts. So you have serif fonts and you have sans serif fonts. So serif fonts are like your Times New Roman, where you have like they look very luxurious, they look very
okay,
official. Sans serif fonts, they don't have those little hanging pieces on each letter form. They're like the plain letter form, more modern,
okay,
contemporary. Um, and like that's like history, you know. The typewriter, when you look at the typewriter, those are serif fonts. They have like Times New Roman, they have little dashes on that. That's because when people in were writing letter forms, like if you do an A and drag your pen at the bottom of the A, there's like a little dash.
right,
So they're emulating handwriting in the past, and in the future they're like, okay, let's like make it make sense geometrically. Let's make it make sense like in symmetry, you
wow,
know. And so it's like there's a whole study behind the fonts that we use. There's a whole study behind our handwriting and how that played a part in what we see today.
mm-hmm.
Um,
I've definitely seen like pictures on like Instagram and things like that of like coloring when it comes to companies and
yeah,
things like orange. All the companies that have use orange in there, and it's the reason
yeah,
why they want it. And then
exactly, and that's
like
why
BP has like green, and
exactly,
because
and
they
that's
want to
why when
be.
you said Mr. Submarine, I'm imagining their letter form, their
Hmm.
font for their Mr. Submarine,
Yeah.
whatever, and that is like it's kind of like having your roots in the ground
Hmm.
and a big ass tree in the front yard,
Yep.
and it's like, yeah, we're gonna like hang out under that tree because I know this tree's sturdy, it's been here for years and
Yep.
things like that. It's because we recognize something that we see that looks like something solid.
Uh-huh.
And it's like I explain it to so now I used to try to only like build up like designers or business owners, but now I just try to keep the average person that's trying to do something aware of this. So like the golden arches, like why do we all recognize McDonald's from the golden arches? It's because they've done such a good job with their brand. It's just
Right.
because they've done such a good job with consistency across the board, messaging. It's just different things in business that design is like prominent in. And so like if you build your case around the designs that you have, or you build a good structure, and then you build designs around that good structure, then you'll have consistency, you'll grow easier, and you'll be able to find you know like the next step
Mm-hmm.
a lot easier, because it's just like that's historically like foundational, and that's why I started my business in general, like helping people understand this foundational piece that we're trying to grow on, like especially black people. But just now for me, it's like anyone who's on the level of like not rich,
Yeah.
like like if you're not rich, then you should probably like try to understand this, because like if you want to, you could want to be rich or not want to be rich, but there's a route to both, and you got to know like what you're doing if you want to be a business owner, and if you want to be successful at what you do, like and some shit's just a hobby. It's still worth learning about,
Mm-hmm.
still worth being educated on.
Yeah, so you can do it as best your ability,
Yeah,
even if
and
it's your hobby.
you don't know who's watching you.
Right.
You don't know who's trying to like do the same thing as you but better. And so like just because you don't want to be like big dog, like doesn't mean like you don't got puppies like watching you that might be like aspiring to be, but like give you an idea one
Mm-hmm.
day or work with you one day. So
And
that's where I'm
and
at.
sometimes hobbies turn into money making
I've seen
opportunities.
it.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've helped it.
Yeah. Um, so when you, I had a question a while back, which was, you said you transitioned from being an athlete to graphic design, and you went from like knowing who you were in the midst of it, and then going into what do I do now? How did that like affect you in like
I did a
life?
lot of
How did it affect you in like your thought process?
I
Was it
did
like
a lot of bullshit.
okay?
I mean, I went to jail before. Like, I tried to sell weed. Like,
Yeah,
I've done all kind of shit like that. I wasn't doing well.
yeah.
Like that wasn't me.
Was that during school?
Yeah. I mean, I
Okay.
did it well during school, but
Oh, okay.
after school, I didn't do it so well. Like, I mean, the thing about it is like, yeah, like school is when I tried to um do everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wanted to be a designer, a good student, a referee, a man. I was so good at refereeing my freshman year. During the second semester, they made me a manager of referees, and my older brother was still a ref.
Wow.
So I managed him. Like get
Yeah,
to work,
yeah.
get to work on time. Your shirt tucked in. You
That's
know what I'm
right.
saying?
Got
Shit
your
like that.
cut your whistle.
Yeah, like and then like I'm telling you, like that also gave me like an ego stroke. Like power dynamics played in a factor. Like I also feel like I couldn't be wrong. Like I couldn't lose. I couldn't fuck up.
Yep.
And I try to do everything. Like I'm trying to be a designer. I'm trying to be a referee. I'm trying to be cool. I'm trying to go to every party. I'm trying to be this and that and the third. And like that's not really life.
Uh-huh.
You have to experience life. You have to do things, but you should understand yourself a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So that you don't fall into like bullshit. And like I fell into bullshit a few times so that I could learn not to. But even like funny thing is I went to jail for 2 months for selling weed, right? And when I was there, like there was like the most like tattooed like gangster people you could look at, and they're
Mm-hmm.
knocking on my door like, "Hey, are you the guy in 38 that draws tattoos?"
Wow.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, like a honey bun and Jolly Ranchers, I got you." And literally,
Yeah.
like the whole stint that I was there, I'm like, it's not the experience that you're sold because of who I am, like
Mm-hmm.
because of who I was. It wasn't that. So I'm like still doing the same thing I would be doing, which taught me this what the fuck I'm supposed to be doing.
Because you're doing it
Like
in the hardest
I'm doing
spaces.
it in a place where I thought I was fucking up. I'm still fucking up, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not fucking up. I'm having Jolly Ranchers and
Honey
food and
buns.
stuff. Yeah, I'm good. Like,
Yeah.
and so like, yeah, I lost clients. Yeah, I had to start fresh. Yeah, I had to do things, but like at the same time, it taught me like what I was doing wrong and what I was doing right.
Mm-hmm.
And like what I could do better, and like the people that like I'm really like reaching. Like
Yep.
it just like opened my eyes a little bit more. And that's a journey, like that's a personal journey you have to go through. Like you have to understand, and that my goal would be to like help people that have never seen like that before, like someone who's cool that also does design work, that also has a business, like it's not linear. It's not one way that you can do it, but you should like you can. There's other role models like for an artist to like go after like, and so I don't know where I was going with that, but
That's fine.
yeah,
Yeah. The I've obviously never been to jail.
yeah,
Not obviously,
yeah,
but
yeah. Like, I don't
but
know.
yeah, you're like, wait a second. Yeah, I was like, we
Like a
just met.
hardened criminal to
Yeah.
me.
I covered my arms for a reason. No, no, I was saying obviously in my head because I was thinking I would never want to. I when I had COVID a couple years back, I was just like I was house ridden for 3 days. I couldn't go out. I couldn't do anything, and I was like, that's enough. That's enough. I don't want to go.
Sucks.
I will never be locked up. Not never, but I don't ever want to be locked up. Rather,
Right.
just because I'm like that was the worst thing about it, and I could technically leave my house if I wanted to.
Right.
But like just the thought of being like I literally can't get out of this building. I can't leave until my time is done. Um, how does that time frame put your perspective on having the like your freedom outside now?
Um.
Obviously you said you were doing the same stuff, but like how's like the mindset of it?
It's tricky. I think like a lot of my take is gonna be also predicated on being black in America.
You got that right.
Because I feel like that is like an easy thing for me to go to
Mhm.
jail. like
You got
it's
that
very
right.
easy for me to like get caught up in some bullshit.
Just unfortunate.
And it's low key like sold to us. It's like taught to us and sold to us. That's why I emphasize
What's sold to you?
like some of the toxic and unhealthy things that lead to jail
Uh-huh.
are like practiced early, like to the point where we think that this is normal
Uh-huh.
and this could land you in jail, and whoever take you to jail, they're fucked up because like why are you taking me to jail because I just smoked a blunt, like I'm chilling,
Got it.
you know. And it's like
which that's also ridiculous.
It
Like
is
it's a
ridiculous.
plant.
We're
Let's
here
get,
and we're here now, where we're now legalizing it, and
Yeah.
so it's just so many people locked up for that, like it's crazy.
get all
But
them out.
yeah, like but the
Oh,
thing is
Jesus.
like again like your question was like how does that affect me now? Like,
Yeah.
I really feel like it helps. I wouldn't trade it in. You know, I'm
Yeah.
glad I experienced that. Because like it taught me a lot about who I am and how I can who I can serve.
Mm-hmm.
I can't help but feel like there's a lot of like entrepreneurs, you know, potential great business owners, potential great idea makers like in jail, and like they shortchange their self when there's a cap put on you, you know. And so like I think a lot of us are oppressed in a way that we see that cap early on before we're even in jail. It's like we don't know that we could be like Fortune 500 business owner before we get to jail. You know, or
Gotcha.
like or before you're deep entrenched in like selling pounds.
Right.
You know, and so it's like now it's like, oh, now you've taken this route and you don't have a role model or idea on how to like make it legit or make it like profitable without having to take that heavy risk.
Right.
And they're making that even harder, making that even, you know, it's just sold to you. You know,
Mhm.
it's kind of like pushed to you. So I think even now, like in my 30s, I'm really realizing like how important it is to like anchor yourself in who you are and anchor and learn about like what's toxic and what can lead you down the wrong path of like delaying you. Cause jail is just to like kind of delays you. It's like not that you're not in the right ballpark, like a scammer. You know, there's scammers in the government. You know, so like
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
find a
that one got me good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you
a
find
big
a
one.
scam, you know what I'm saying? Like,
There's
I'm not
big
saying
ones.
like I don't fault scammers for getting money, but you
Yeah.
gotta like devise a route that says I used this, I did this to get here.
Uh-huh.
You know, a lot of people, when I went to jail, a lot of people I met in jail was comfortable being there because they didn't really know what else there was, or like they got so much time that they could walk very slow from here to there and not worry too much about how it's affecting other people. But everything you do affects other people. You know, everything you do is like builds onto your legacy and builds onto your story and builds onto what educates the people that your peers and the people that come behind you.
When you were in there, did you find a lot of people that just like lost their dream or had a cap on them because they were in there? Or?
The sad thing is that wasn't new to me when I got there.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people already lose themselves. Like,
and that's why they got in there in the first place.
That's why they can go. They're in and out of there. You know, like that's why they're not scared of there. Like, don't worry about there. Like, a lot of people don't really see the value in other things until it's too late. You know, like business, like the like certain things that you don't get, like feeding your like not even feeding your family, doing something nice for someone that wasn't from something illegal or something looked down on.
Right.
Something you could be proud of.
Yep.
Brag on. Like, I'm still learning how to brag on my artwork in my business.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird to me.
Yeah, it should be weird.
That's weird.
That's a good thing. It should be weird.
You know, like, I mean, but not weird and not in the weird in the way like that's cool. Weird in the way like why isn't there another person above me that can reach me?
Gotcha, yeah.
That can say like, this is how you do it, or show me, you know, like, and not saying that there's not other artists prior to me. I'm saying like like I don't know. It just feels like I'm a one of one, and I'm helping create the mold that is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's weird to me.
That's also should be weird.
One thing I want to be known. One thing I want to say, like the first 50 years of any civilization, any culture, is barbaric.
You got that right.
And in America, like, black people, we aren't far off from starting our culture.
Yeah.
And so, like, a lot of us, like, look for resolve and look for, like, blueprint, things like that. We're not realizing we're setting it. You know, like, we're kind of, like, establishing what's right and wrong, and we're missing it. We're being sold agendas, and we're this and that. Like, we have so much power today, like, to just, like, influence tomorrow that, like, we don't know. And, like, I'm experiencing still till this day, and I've been experiencing for 10 years, but still going through epiphanies where I'm like, oh shit, like, they're watching me too. You know, they're watching me. Like, I have to make sure, like everything I do, like, clicks and hits, because like and that inspires me to come up with more things that, like, help instead of hurt, you know?
Yep. That reminds me of, like, what's his name? Elvis Presley. Like, same thing. Like, he was, like, quote unquote the father of rock and roll, but it's like you can see his story is like he was the first of everything, and it was a messy life because there was no one there has paved the path, and like he got it, he had it all, but then it all went down the toilet in one way or another, just because it was just he didn't have anybody to follow after, and so he's just testing this thing out over here, and then testing this thing over here, and then.
And if you're like me, like traditional artists, you don't get, like, paid until you die, in a sense.
Right.
And so, like a lot of us can't afford that, you know. Like,
yeah, you got that right. yeah. No one can afford that.
I can't afford that, you know. So, like, the difference between art and design for me had been that, like, design really tailored more to business and, like, the entrepreneurs of America and, like, capitalism and things that, like, sort of built this country, versus art being, like, something to be appreciated as timeless. You know, there's a marriage there. Yep. You know, and, like, that for me there's beauty in that. You know. I also speak, like, for myself, because there's other role models and things like that. Like, that's not to overshadow any athlete or musician or drug dealer, you know, like, that's successful at what they do. Yeah. It's just that, like, is just disproportionate in like the the what you get from being this versus that. And part of my life mission has been to like show like even if I don't make NBA money, like I'm gonna show you I'm going to show how major, how cool, how fun, how like how life is being a day by day artist and designer and business owner, and I have other goals and just like a real person, you know, like there's just like different. I think like a lot of us don't get a lot of we don't see ourselves in a lot of people, and we're trying to do that in ways that become unhealthy at times, you know. And so
Mm-hmm.
like if you don't got a role model, you'll lean into whoever you think is important, whoever you think is cool. And with social media and things like that, now you're being so now every day you can wake up, look at your phone and see like the most famous rapper and look at that and think that that's, you know, compare your life to that, see, think that should be you, whatever. Like it's so important today to just like anchor down and really like understand yourself and like try to like make that cool.
And give yourself wins in the midst of it, because like the MBAs and the rap stars are like the smallest of the smallest of small percentage, because now like all of you can get famous off of the social media, but like anyone can get. And
Yeah.
so like
What
the
is fame?
access, so the access of it is even more available, and so those who get to that spot is even smaller now than it was way back in the day.
And I'll challenge that even those like supply and demand. Like if you study things like supply and demand
Yep.
or you know, money and just economy, things like that, you'll understand that like, okay, now we're having an overflow of this. So the demand for it is low. So the money is not there.
Yep.
You know, and that's not worth pursuing at the moment. Um, that's how like logo flips were for me. You wouldn't believe how many Simpsons and Supreme and Backwoods logos that I flipped into other people's names and things like that. And that's what pushed me to like, I need to start a business and show people like that's not the way.
Right.
You know, and like this was cool for this year, but this won't last 5 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to tell people that. Like people
Yeah,
don't know
and
that.
people would respect you for that
Yeah,
too, and then
yeah.
that's a repeat business right there.
That's where I'm. That's why I'm. That's why I'm
Yeah,
here today.
because like it's like especially for business owners, because everyone's trying to keep their bottom line as big as possible and their expenses as low as possible, and so it's like if Amir tells me that this thing is not going to work next year, that means that cha-ching, that means I have to spend more money again to. And then yeah, then it snowballs. It's like, hey, Amir, you can trust him because that's what's up.
Yeah.
He tells the honest truth. He does good work, and he's gonna keep you on the right foot.
And that's why I want to shout out my second designer, Maurice. He's somebody I met last June and at the event space, and I seen in him the drive that I had.
Yeah,
I seen in him quality design work. I seen in him like an athlete turned designer that like really cares about his work. He also makes rugs. He's
what kind of rugs?
so like custom rugs at Rug Arcade on Instagram. It's
We'll put that link in the description as
he
well.
he makes like any kind of rug you want. Like so he'll do custom rugs for you, and then he has a collection of rugs that he's made that he sells. Like tufting.
like he does it himself.
Yeah, yeah. So
Like
he has
on a
like
sewing machine and
he
all
has
that.
a board. No, so it's a gun. It's like a tufting gun, and you have a board, and you take yarn and you stitch the yarn through the board after you trace the design.
Damn, that's
Yeah, he's
cool.
nice. Yeah, he's nice. And I was saying that I seen in him some of me and like what I was looking for in a person. Like before to that, like I've taken on a couple people as like mentees and
Yeah.
things, but he was like the guy, you know, to me, where I'm like
Yep.
I could like see myself in him and like really see it. Now he's still my second or just another designer that I use. I don't even like to demean him.
Yeah,
I call
yeah.
him a second designer, but like he's
When
like,
I hear second, I hear two, not like hierarchy. Yeah,
So
it's like,
he's curbside.
Yeah.
So he's curbside printing and design. So he helps with like production stuff. He does my screen printing for my clothing brand. He's a stud as far as design goes, and like I see in him like that like things that I went through like like that he doesn't have to go through anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like I see like he's learned from me in this like 1 year that we've learned
Mm-hmm.
that we've been like working together, like things that it took me 5 years to bump my head and realize like, all right, I need to not do that again,
Yep.
or I need to charge more, or I need to like value this. Um, and so
And I bet it was a good additive for you as well.
to be able to delegate,
Well, delegation one, but also just creativity
yeah,
two, because I think it was in the book Magic of Thinking Big. In one of the chapters, it talks about I think it was that book, might be Master Key to Riches. I can't remember, but one of them is called the Mastermind Effect. And when you have two minds collaborating on something, it creates a third mind that neither of them would have been able to get without having collaboration.
I agree. I
Yeah.
completely agree. I think entrepreneurship and art, being an artist and a designer, can be a lonely journey at times. And
That's an understatement.
and when you find people that like are part of your like you can like relate to, part of your tribe, like lean
Yeah.
into that. You know, I'm leaning into that more often now, and I'm also realizing like I can help how like people I can help with what I do, and the people that can help me with what I like haven't done yet.
Mm-hmm.
And we all we got, like that, back to that quote, enough's enough because we don't have enough.
Yep.
You know, and so like we each have to like work together to like get to a place where like we can both like benefit from this synergy. But anyway, back to Maurice, like I was saying, recently we went to Charlottesville for a design week. So they have a Charlottesville Design Week. It's run by Tuesday Design Society. It's a very tailored event. They had a woman named Paula Scher as a speaker, a guest speaker. She's like LeBron James of graphic design.
Wow.
She has a
Okay.
Netflix documentary. She's like she did IBM's logo. She did Citibank's logo. I don't know if she did IBM. Don't quote me. She
Okay.
did Citibank's logo. She does like a lot. She worked for Pentagram, which is one of the biggest
Yeah.
design agencies in New York.
Like, I know that name, and
Yeah.
I
So
and I don't even do anything in this world.
She's legit, and we both got to ask her a question. You know, like we both got to stand up and
How
talk to her.
big was
She was on
was
Zoom.
this event?
I want to say probably about 50, maybe like less than that, like 40, 45 designers.
Damn,
Yeah,
so
like
super
yeah,
tailored.
very tight.
Wow.
It was open to the public. It was mostly events, and times were free. It's just like not known. You know, this is like I think the second or third year they're doing it. And they got Paula Scher as a speaker, which was nice. But
It's good that you got there at that point,
yeah,
because then
so
you were able to get in and talk to her.
yeah, so this is my second year going, and I brought Maurice
Yeah.
this year because like I didn't know him the year before, but I brought him this year, and our agency, like, so they split you up into design agencies. We competed against 3 other agencies, and our agency won.
You and him.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So what we did was there was a local nonprofit that needed to go through a rebrand to like pitch to donors, pitch to just the public,
Mm-hmm.
update their branding, update some of their systems, and
Which nonprofit is it?
it's called On Our Own.
Okay.
So they help like recovering addicts.
Cool.
And they have a house in Charlottesville, downtown Charlottesville, where like recovering addicts can go and get Narcan and things
I'm
like
assuming they have a website and all that.
yeah, they
for
have
you.
website, Instagram, things like
Cool.
that.
We'll throw all that down there too if you want to donate.
Yeah, donate there.
Yep.
And we actually help them show how you can increase donations. So like we came up with a system where the donors can see where their money's going, see how much they're donating in like a circle chart to percentage of like
Oh, sweet.
where their money's going. And so that's why we won, because they were impressed that like this would be some kind of that the system could be implemented to help the donors like gamify donations.
Gamify is the key word there, because
Yeah.
people love competition subconsciously.
Exactly.
Like we came from the hunter gatherer.
From
Yep.
the Coliseum.
yeah, exactly. The
Yeah.
Coliseum. So
And
that's like
so-
in our DNA.
And so I
Yeah.
say that to say like I knew we were gonna win.
Yeah.
Like to be frank, like I told him like a day, or like it's a 1-day marathon. Let's call it design marathon. We spent from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. coming up with the solution, and then we present it the next day.
It's like Ink Masters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so like
That's cool.
I was going through this, and I'm like, yeah, we gonna win.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we were the last people to present. I'm looking. I'm like, yeah, we won.
Yeah.
I know we won. Look at their stuff.
Yeah.
But
And that's confidence.
I didn't have that the year before.
Wow.
I was really like, I don't know. Like the year before I went there, I was kind of like nervous, like kind of second guessing myself, going through a lot of imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, entrepreneurship as a designer and artist is daily imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And so this year, I came back, and a lot of the designers that I met remembered me, like speaking to me, very calm, cool, and that taught me. I mean, that also things like that help me understand. Like, no, we're like as creatives, we always feel like we're gonna step on the next creative's toes.
Yeah.
When we really need to like my mom always said, closed mouths don't get fed. And so like
I like that phrase.
yeah, if you don't say what's on your mind or speak or things like that, you're not gonna get to the real, and the real is like we actually need each other. Like we actually need to unionize and make sure we get them MBA numbers.
Yeah.
Like cuz like there's no way we're going to do it if like we keep working and the next guy comes out of college and he's charging $50 for something I'm charging 5,000 for.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we all need an understanding, a basic common ground on how to go about this. And the first year taught me that. The second year I was like, yeah, I got it. And I'm showing him the ropes and nailed it, which is just like it's small, but it's like to me a validating thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, yeah, like I've got a good groove on this. I can keep doing this.
Did I know Charlottesville has like a magazine and all that? Did it get like
I did.
like
Yeah,
posted?
Charlottesville, Seville Weekly.
Seville Weekly.
We were featured in.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's actually a picture of me in Seville Weekly doing the presentation of on our own nonprofit house, and it's like the main feature or whatever.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you know how they chose on your own?
No, I think every
okay.
year they just. So the first year
pick
they
one?
did it's a company called X Art Park. It's just like another nonprofit. I think they just pick a nonprofit that is I don't know. Maybe they bid. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, okay. Just a question. It's like I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Cool. When you were, I could go back in jail real quick.
Yeah.
Was it like mixed crowd of people, like of just like different charges and things, or was it like all drug charges?
So the way
and then,
jail works is like they can classify you by like the seriousness of your offense.
Okay.
And I was just like selling weed.
Yeah.
So like I'm with the main, like I'm not with nobody like super dangerous and crazy. But but if you ever seen the show Beyond Scared Straight, like they will try to scare you as soon as you get there. Like,
right.
As soon as you get there, you're about to walk into this pod. It's like 36 cells, but like everything's overcrowded and everybody's like doing this like charade of like like we're dangerous,
yeah.
and trying to scare you when you come in.
Yep.
And you're gonna go through that, if you go there. But like the point of being there is to like rehabilitate your mental thinking and like change. And like most people there are doing that, like kind of like taking time away from drugs that they do, taking time away from toxic things. And I'm gonna move it closer. But taking time away from toxic habits and things like that. I always agree with that. I always advocate for like, finding mental clarity. And that I think you get forced into that in jail. Like I've seen people like that were sick off like heroin and things like that, and they are like shitting themselves.
Yeah.
Like every night, shaking and shitting, like can't sleep. And so like you need sometime when you can't like control yourself, or like you've like fallen deeply into like bad habits, you need a break. Sometimes that shit force you into a break, and so advocate for that break and that rehabilitation.
Yep.
Like rehab is probably a big reason why a lot of people are still with us. So I definitely advocate for that. But I don't know if ask the question again. Like,
No, that was the question.
yeah,
I
like,
was just trying to figure out if like if you were with murderers or anybody like
yeah,
that,
like,
just to
nah,
see.
I don't think I was with like murderers, things like that. It's more
Yeah.
like it was a couple like felons, people like that are gonna be there for a long time. I went to county jail, so like
Right.
you can only
That's
do up to 2 years in county jail,
right.
and then they ship you if you get sentenced to over 2 years or over a certain amount of time, they ship you off to prison.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I had like different people coming in and out. We would play cards and just learning different people. Um, but yeah, really not too crazy. Like there's fights, there's stealing and shit like that, but it's not like it's kind of like being it's kind of like being in an apartment complex that
Yeah.
is like wild.
Yeah. A
Or like
while. Yeah.
like if you're if you're in middle school, high school, and you got your bus is boring, but there's a wild bus. It's
Yep.
like being on the wild bus.
Okay. Yeah.
That's just it. It's like not too crazy. It's like adult daycare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was just wondering, like, because if you were dealing with people who didn't who like murdering and stuff, it was like, how did that affect your perspective and things like that? Because obviously this podcast has to do with death as well, and it's just like,
Yeah.
if you were with people who took life.
Yeah.
And so I was wondering if like if you
I
if you had anybody that were in that experience or anything.
Like not specifically like took life, but I know people that have like attempted to,
Yeah.
and like I would say like
Friends of yours?
yeah, like
Wow.
yeah, like take other people's lives, or like
Yeah.
I would say like it's like that's when you're really in like animal primal kind of
Totally.
like instincts. Like there's this like primitive nature that we all have where it's like eat or be ate or whatever, and like you gotta kind of fall where you are on the food chain, and some people don't go through that until a certain point. Some people like like let's say somebody who's like just like murder for hire versus somebody who did it on accident.
Right.
Like you will see the difference in those two people, and like you can kind of see it instantly. So those two people don't have to be like, they could both be on the same plane education wise. They could look the same, like but there's just like certain like social cues and things like that you get from like people that it's just like you could tell this person only was taught that,
right,
versus this person was going through something and was pushed over the edge or something, or like accident or whatever, or even like drunk driving, whatever the case is. It's just like there is like I have it's not like admiration, it's like I have an understanding for someone who has been trained to do this.
Yeah.
Versus someone who did it on accident and did this or that or whatever. And the people that you find to be trained in that way are not short of like militant people or military and things
that was
like that.
I was just about to bring that up.
Yeah, and
I
so
was like, and then you got the people that are in the military, like the special ops and all of that. That they seem pretty normal out and about.
Yeah,
but
and it's like really that's what I find admirable is like you go through rigorous training to be able to do something that the average person can't.
Yeah.
And still manage. That shit is gonna affect you, for life.
Oh, I can only imagine.
But you still like the training prepares you for that effect. So
you
like
have to be able to compartmentalize to a certain degree.
You're not thinking about it.
Yeah.
You don't give a fuck. You're gonna wait for the next thing. Like so, it's that's a lot like how business works. That's a lot like how entrepreneurship is. Like you're gonna fuck something up. You're also gonna like kill something. Like theoretically, like
right.
You're gonna make a lot of money. But like if you don't follow proper procedure afterwards and like train yourself to like do certain habits, you're gonna blow all the money, or you're gonna
like a lot of NBA or a lot of sports athletes.
Yeah. So
they don't get trained. They just like, here, you're 21. Here's an NBA $10 million contract.
Yeah. And then 9 is gone.
Yeah.
Next month.
Yeah. And that nine's built on a $6 million house that you have to pay or not pay mortgage, but you have to pay the
Oh
upkeep.
yeah, that shit. Like
You got to
so,
pay the upkeep,
so
or
the
you got
thing
the
is,
car and you have to pay the upkeep.
that's I think the biggest part of like discipline is like learning where to attribute your disciplines.
Yeah.
Like being like I implore anyone that is of coming into a good amount of money to like invest in businesses, invest in stock, invest in Bitcoin, invest in something that'll grow, or something that will fail quickly and you can learn from, you know, so
Yep.
that like you can do it again,
Yep.
because that's the risk that a lot of us don't learn how to do and take and things, and that's why I became a business owner, because I'm like none of my family is business owners.
Yep.
Or it might be a secondary to what they do normally. And even now, like my dad, he's like has a tax business, and he's like he's worked his whole life, but I think that he doesn't see how big his tax business could be. I don't think he sees how, and last month I redid his website so that he could like capitalize and leverage a little
Yep.
better. So it's just like, you know, education is everything, influence is everything. So like back to your question, like being around serious offenders, you just could tell like where their education and where their influence is, you know, and that don't mean they can't be like some of the like some of the people who've done the worst shit in legally.
Yep.
I've known to be some of the smartest business minds, entrepreneurial minds, coming up with routes and ways to do things that the average person can't do.
Yeah.
So like
It's just currently illegal.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
currently is the point.
Right.
Like it's like agenda wise illegal.
Right.
And so like yeah, like I don't know. It just it's to back to your first point. That's one thing I really learned like about myself and being around people like that is like I don't have to like be that. I don't have to learn how to be that. I can take influence from that. I drew a comic. Like I drew a comic probably like 7 pages of like different days that I was there, different things that I saw.
Wow.
And I threw it away after I got out because I was like, I want to be done with this.
Yeah.
I wish I had it. I showed all my friends. I let them read it. They was like, this is cool as fuck. And then I got rid of it. But it's like somebody being on the phone and then fighting using the phone or something, just like random things, but like things that maybe I wouldn't even thought of. You know, like if I'm on the phone, somebody's like, "Yo, that's my phone." Like, would I have to like beat him with the phone, or would I give him the phone? You know, like
yeah.
So it's just like I don't know, like life is not like linear, and you should like learn and grow from and like take influence to grow from all your things in the past, you know. So
do you fear death?
Sometimes I used to. I've been through my situations where I feel like no.
Yeah.
Now I don't feel like it's a fear thing. I think it's I just don't. I just understand what it is. You know, I just like I understand what it is to us walking Earth. You know, it's perceived as like the end point of something. You know, so I don't think too much about the end of things because I'm still working them.
Yep.
You know, and like I think once you get closer to the end of things, then you start to like contemplate what else there is.
So you just don't really focus on it at all?
Not too much.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously when people die, you think about it some.
Yeah. You like, got to. Yeah.
I've had like, you know, imposter syndrome make you feel like you're not doing the right shit. And
totally.
Like, you get too. I've had depressed moments and.
Especially being an entrepreneur and lonely.
Yeah.
That makes being lonely and isolated makes you like
going to jail and losing all your clients. You know what I'm saying? I've done that. And so like or just like I don't know, like fucking up, you know, sometimes you feel like you know, like you get into that like downtrodden area of yourself and you start thinking just thinking about it. It's not like I wouldn't want to say like people who have tried or people who haven't tried, both have thought about it or thought about death.
Yeah.
Not saying thought about killing themselves or thought about people who've died. just the subject matter in general.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think you get to thinking about it, especially being an entrepreneur, especially being like a solo entrepreneur.
Yeah, because I mean, when you're a solo entrepreneur, it's it's a lot of work. It's a whole you have to work your ass off,
I'm working
and
up
so
here right now.
I know,
Yeah,
yeah,
like
and you're
there's
always
shit.
taking
Yeah.
things in, especially with as an artist. But like as entrepreneurs, we're always just like cling, 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 and yeah, okay. Yeah, because it's one of the reasons why I have it is because I have this podcast is because I want to talk to people and see all the different perspectives on like how people work through this thing that we call life and like how like for you you're not even focusing on it, you're not even see and you just said you see it as an end point, um obviously as this conscious being, but do you think like your consciousness continues going somewhere else, or do you think at all, or have you ever even thought about it? Because I know like different religions and different
Yeah,
belief systems have.
I'm not particularly religious.
Yeah,
Like my name is Amir, it's a Muslim name. They got that from like my parents let people name me
like
so
a
because I'm the second.
like a cast on an arm.
Yeah,
Really?
my second name. So like I'm a second. I'm a middle child. So like my name Amir is Muslim. It means prince, and then Oshin is Irish. It means prince as well. Is my
Cool.
middle name. My last name is Dennis, and so I don't know what that means.
Yeah, yeah.
but I'm gonna like lie and say that means prince too.
Yeah, yeah.
But
So okay, let's pause for a second.
yeah.
So your parents, you said they someone else gave you your
Yeah,
name from other.
yes. So like my parents are Christian. They're not like as particularly religious, but my
Yeah.
grandparents are Muslim, or my grandfather was Muslim for a period of time. This is the story I was told. I don't know exactly.
Uh
I
huh.
wasn't there when I was named.
Right.
Oh, I was there, but not conscious enough to
Yeah.
take it in. But what I was told was that they had a friend group that came up with the name for like second born in a
Wow.
sense, and they came up with Amir as prince because like I think Malik in Arabic is king,
Uh huh.
so they were Arabic and they came up with Amir as the second born name.
Is Malik one of your siblings?
No, I
Oh,
don't.
okay.
I'm the only one that has the Muslim name.
Oh, okay.
Black people, we just name our shit random.
Got it. Yeah, yeah.
But like, I also like I don't know. I don't know what.
That's so funny.
I don't know. It's not that deep, bro. Like,
I was trying to hold it in, but
yeah, but like I'm be real with you. Like
You're funny.
I don't know where they're coming with this shit, but I'm glad they gave me the name with the meaning. Both
Yeah.
my brothers' names don't have meaning.
got it.
So like yeah, like but one thing is my mom is an A name and my
Uh-huh.
dad is a T name. So their firstborn was a T, and he's T Sean, and then I'm an A name, and then my younger brother's Tavon is a T.
Yeah.
And so like I just think they were trying to find an A name that also was meaningful.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I think that is cool, and I think that played a factor in like maybe who I am.
Mhm.
You know, like why I am how I am. So like I don't know much more beyond their thought process behind that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go back. So we're going back to shit. I forgot what we were talking about.
We were talking about
Oh yeah, yeah. Your perspective on like the afterlife or whatever. Or
Yeah.
if there is something, or how that affects you, or
so I think about it like in terms of like the soul. I think the soul lives on in your like legacy and like certain things like you know that like you leave behind. So like my hope, my thought is like when I think about this a lot. Like there's on Hull Street and Commerce Road is called Richmond Heritage
Yep.
Federal Credit Union. I did the logo for that.
yeah,
It's the red R
Yeah.
in the bank. Yeah, so I did that. Like that's one, but like Pick and Brew, Liberation Church. There's a few other businesses I did everything for, but that one right there, because of that area, it's in such a crossroad. Like I think about that every day. Like hundreds of people are like feeling me, feeling my soul a little
Yeah.
bit. That's what I hope to leave behind after I die. Like, people can feel me more when they see things that I leave behind.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is like the spiritual side of death for me.
Totally.
Like a grandparent leave behind and the parent carries them. You're gonna think about the grandparent when you think about the parent.
Yeah.
When you go through experience the parent. So I think the soul lives on. I think the soul lives on through like your legacy and whatever you leave behind.
And not even that's awesome. And it's not even necessarily as uh, after this body has ended, you're leaving it behind when you created that logo, and now you're over here,
Yeah.
but you're also
Yeah.
over on Commerce and Hall Street right now.
Hundreds of people driving by that.
I
every
drove
day.
past it. I didn't even know.
Looking like, oh,
Yeah.
and like you don't intrinsically feel it. You just
Yep,
you just going day by day through your day.
totally.
But now that you know me, now that you know what I've done, especially if I died, you would
got
pass
that
by
right.
and be like, I know who did that.
Yep.
That's like the spirituality of it, I think, for
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
And knowing that you're a good dude, and the amazing experience that we're having right now will bring uplifting during that time as I pass that place. And so, yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah. I've had nothing but laughs this whole time.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, because I'm like, I have no idea what's going on in the world. And it's
then,
like,
it's funny because you said, oh, I've never seen your work. I'm such a like show and tell. I can't believe I haven't like sent you and shown you
nothing.
some work.
Yeah.
That's great though.
But it's also, I have seen your work and I just didn't know it because I drive past Pig and
that's great. Yeah, Pig and Brew.
I've driven past Pig and Brew. I've dropped people off there plenty of times. When I was driving Uber, and it's just like, yeah, that's cool.
Like so like the topic of death, the subject of death is like so one track minded, but like let's say I never worked for Pig and Brew again.
Mm-hmm.
Like the relationship there is terminated, and so like what I've left there is what they've used as a foundation to grow, or used as a foundation to fail.
Right.
I've done a lot of business with businesses that haven't done shit with it, or like there's a music studio by a multi-million-dollar recording producer, Young Land. He opened a studio in Richmond called Defiant Studios, and I did the logo for that. It's closed now.
Wow.
But that time period was so major for me, and like sharing my work and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That even now referring back to it in its passing, it's still a prominent thing that helps me get business.
Right.
Yeah. It helps people see, like some of the people I've worked with, how serious my business is.
That's amazing. We're gonna transition into a song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a good one.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm gonna go use the bathroom real quick.
Yeah.
And then we'll
ciders.
Sorry?
Can I get another cider?
Yeah, absolutely. Come on. We'll be right back. And we're back. All right, cool. So you had a song for us.
Yeah.
So what's the name of the song?
So the song is called O3 Flow.
Okay.
By Wally the Sensei.
Okay, cool. I've never heard it.
Yeah.
So I love having new songs, because I don't know if I've told you when we met or anything, but when I hear, the audience knows about this, but when I hear songs, I see music videos, and pretty close. I've been basically able to describe like the album cover, or like, which is so cool, is I've had it my entire life, or like either describe like what the album cover looks like, or describe like the emotion behind the album cover. So it's always fun for me.
Okay.
And then also because of the music video, I just get transported to a different realm for a little bit. So
I love music.
Yeah.
I'm a huge, like, if anything, I'm leaning into music, like just to like get through my days and my time and things like that. Even like sad music.
Yeah, dude.
Fuck with it.
Yeah, good. For me, it's so crazy because some people don't like music, and I'm like, how? Because like for me,
Deaf people?
I know, right? Speaking of deaf people, I was walking out of Kroger the other day, and I saw two deaf people and someone doing like a recording of them, and they were doing like a TikTok, but they were deaf, and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
That is cool.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
I didn't even know that I could like.
I was like,
How you doing there? Yeah, like,
Yeah, I just walked by quietly and looked back, and I was like, "Oh
Doesn't
wow,
matter. You could be loud if you want.
yeah." That's so true.
It's just funny that you emphasize quietly.
Yeah.
Like
Like
I don't
everyone,
care.
yeah, that's very true. I didn't even think about that. Just
No,
because
I'm
I
just
like,
saying. I did have a homeroom teacher that was deaf. Shout out Miss Gutierrez. She was like one of the most beautiful teachers I've ever had. And
like
she was
physically or like her
she had
aura.
a squeaky voice.
Oh yeah,
You know, she was no physically
physically. Oh okay.
bad.
Yeah,
yeah, like
got it.
yeah. She was one of them ones.
Yeah,
But like she had one of them squeaky voices. First person I realized like why she talk like that.
yeah,
You know, but that's deaf people. You know, sometimes they haven't learned how to like fluctuate their voice and things.
yeah.
So they just have like whatever whatever
Yeah.
voice comes out. That's what it is.
Yep, because they just don't. They never heard their own voice, and so
Yeah.
that's wild. Yeah, so just when anybody's filming, I just like subconsciously go quiet,
Yeah.
just because I'm like I don't want to mess it up, and then have to do it all over again.
You
And
both, yeah. I'm getting out the way, tiptoeing and
yep,
shit.
yeah, trying to go behind the
Yeah,
camera
yeah,
and,
yeah.
and all that. But remind me of what the name of the song is again.
03 Flow.
03 Flow and
Yeah.
by.
Wally the Sensei.
Okay, cool. So go ahead and hit the play. And then for copyright reasons, we'll put the link in the description and we'll be right back. And we're
like,
back.
Like trying so hard to be successful, trying so hard to achieve your goals and be productive and be taken in by your family, your peers, whoever, and like having strikes against you, having bullshit against you can like drag you down.
Yeah.
To the point where it's like, shit, if I'm gonna die, like, I'm gonna take myself out, you know, like, cause
Yep.
I'm trying hard at everything,
Yep.
you know, and so like, if trying hard at everything, then I'll check myself out and
Yep.
then let others dictate, you know, what it is that like I'm leaving behind.
And it's not even necessarily, may not even be on purpose taking yourself out. It may be you just work yourself so hard because you're just trying to get out of the hole.
Yeah,
And it just ends.
yeah,
it
it's
ends
about
it.
like control, like
Yeah.
like your journey, like you're in charge, you know, like and not letting others dictate. Like, you do have to learn how to like abide by the law.
Yeah.
But at the same time, sometimes these things are corrupt than what we're living in, and so like it's a hard balance. It's a hard balance at times, and I can relate to like not always being able to manage that balance.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an amazing song.
I appreciate it.
I love that song. I'm gonna add that to my playlist for sure.
That's a good one.
Yep, that was incredible. So when I first heard the piano, well, I heard like right at the beginning, as you were turning up the volume, I saw like it was like I don't necessarily know if it was brick walls, but it was brick walls of like apartment buildings, and then as soon as I heard the piano, then it zoomed over to just like a grand piano, but it wasn't like a shiny nice one. It was like what had actually happened. It took me to a memory that I had back when I was I don't know which city I was in. I think it might have been like Louisville, Kentucky, or somewhere like that, where it was just in like the middle of a courtyard. There was a gazebo and there was a grand piano there, and it was painted green, not like it was like a like 70s green, like you know how like old Beatles used to be. Like it was like a lime, like a mint green, I guess. Yeah, like a mint green
Pastel kind of.
Yeah. But it wasn't shiny at all. It looked like someone like just put the grand piano out there. It was like have at it, whatever happens to it.
Like a flower.
Yeah.
Sense, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's just like there. A couple keys were broken on the piano when I walked up to it, and like just like chipped off or whatever. But the whole thing was like painted green, and some people painted some other things among it, but most of it was just like a pastel green. But it was like, this is a grand piano, and yet they put it up there, or a baby grand piano, and then they just said, have at it. If you want to play it, play it. If you want to, and it like weathered the storm because it was inside the gazebo, but
Mm.
you played some keys and the keys were definitely off.
Yeah.
It was like ding dong ding.
Yeah.
like you could definitely, so
Yeah.
you could play it, but that's the whole setting I was in, was like it was inside like this courtyard area. And at first it was just him playing the piano, and then you could start seeing people like popping out of the windows looking at him, and then you saw like a crowd started watching him just share his story. um and so I was just like literally just there in the courtyard, just staring at, and then some folks were dancing and stuff. But yeah, that's what I saw. I don't know anywhere near the album or whatnot,
Close
but
to the video, yeah.
really,
Pretty close. Like, I mean, uh, it's like a isolated. Like, he's telling the story. There's like one-off shots. There's no piano, I don't think. But I think if they had one, they would have shown it.
yeah,
I think it's a scarcity of what they had. I think it looks like a video just made like on a random afternoon. You know, like
yeah,
not when they could haul in a piano, just like um emulating, like telling the story, like you said. Um, I'm not sure. I think it is a courtyard. I think there might be a courtyard in it, or it might be like him staring over a balcony or
yep.
something like that into a courtyard, something like that. But pretty close.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was the scene that I saw, and it was like, but yeah, I love the message that he had on there. It was just like, ugh, getting yourself out of that hole is the key.
And
And
then and the song to me speaks about confidence.
okay,
Speaks about like drive, and it's like he says like um outside is all I know. I'll never make it out this hole because I got a felony. Um, no soul, I feel no pain. So it's like about like persevering, you know, like
yeah,
in life you are gonna go through like shit that seemingly will like, it's like a death, like a death within lifetime. Like
yeah,
having a felony is it's
yeah,
fuck you over in life, you know? So being able to like still sing, you know, when you have that over you
mm-hmm.
is like, you know, about that's what perseverance is all about to me. Like nothing gonna stop you besides you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then if you decide to stop, that's your decision.
Right.
Yeah.
And you were saying something while the music was still playing. Can you say that again?
I was saying that he was saying like, if you ever heard that Wally died, it's suicide, not a homicide. Before I let them take me, I'll take my own life. I was saying like he's basically speaking on like, it's like remaining in control of his narrative.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't remember like exactly what I was saying.
That's fine.
But like that kind of what this song speaks to me about, and like that last part of it speaks to me. Is like getting his name on Hollywood Walk, or like I think he says something like that. It's like being able to see yourself in that light, knowing that you got this up against you.
Yeah.
Is like the message of the song to me.
Wow. Yeah. So it really related to you because because the being in the hole for a little bit. No pun intended.
Yeah.
No pun intended. But and then but always keeping that vision in front of you.
Yeah. Well, the chip on your shoulder, being black in America, I'm also speaking on, because like I always feel like I'm coming from a leg behind, like
Yeah.
like I said, like coming in like third place, like at the start of the race.
Yeah.
So like it's the feeling more than it sometimes is actually a thing. Like sometimes you're the only person in your own way because you feel like that, because you don't have like someone with a felony to show you how to persevere, you know, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like in his terms, you know, like in my terms, it's like an artist that has done it and gone through what I've gone through specifically to show me like, this is how you can, this is how you don't kill yourself in the process, you know?
Yeah. You mentioned something earlier. Like, look it up. Nope. Okay. Stay down there. You mentioned something earlier about having investing into something and then having it fail quickly,
Hmm.
which is, I think, is imperative for success.
Yeah.
Like having a quick turnaround loop can make you grow so quickly, because if you try something and it fails once a year, you have your turnaround and your response time to change, that your learning curve is so much slower.
Yeah.
So if wanting to try something new and then having it quote unquote fail, it's not actually failing if you learn from it, but the hope is to know to stress test it very quickly and be like, okay, that didn't work out, and let me try this instead. And that stood out to me, that you were like, wanted to be a quick turnaround.
I think that dictates history. Like how fast we learn from it.
Yeah,
Is if you keep repeating the same mistake, it's not history. It's
yeah,
you're still doing it. And so like history is something that we like put in textbooks and learn from and like use as an educational tool versus like lessons that you learn that you're continuously learning. That might be it might be you might not be over the lesson. I saw a monk one time tell me like, or I watched monks like on YouTube, and they were like, life's like karate, where you have a belt and you have a technique, and until you've mastered that technique, like you don't graduate belts, So if you fail, then you have to repeat until you master the technique to graduate into new belts. And life is a lot like that, where it's like you're doing things and you're finding your failures, and if you keep failing, like that's okay, but you don't graduate into the next belt
right.
until you realize like what you're doing wrong. You
And
know.
I don't think it's a coincidence that it's called martial arts,
Yeah, yeah,
because life is an art,
yeah,
but it's also a it's I wouldn't say it's an art, but it's also a form as well. Like it can be creative, but you also have to have some kind of structure involved into it,
yeah.
so that art can flourish.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's like a dance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Yep, you got to have some kind of form, but then also you get the creative uh nuances to each thing. But
and the nuance create the flavor.
yeah.
Like when you start to add in your own extra step, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, he did the spin this time.
Yeah. 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 What would be one thing that you would want do you want to leave okay, let me rephrase that. Um, how big do you want to get? Do you want to, because you said you've done stuff up and down the East Coast.
Yeah.
Do you want to go national? Do you want to go global, or are you just not even thinking about that and let cross that bridge when you come to it?
I mean, I think I do. I think I think I'm able to do it.
Yeah.
I think I want to do it. Like I speak Spanish well. I
Oh, that's
learned,
cool.
yeah, hablo poquito español, pero necesito ayuda.
How did you learn? Well, why did you learn that?
I my parents when I was born, I was we were in a Spanish neighborhood. My babysitter was Spanish. I was learning ABCs in Spanish.
Wow.
And then when I got to I didn't know that until I got to middle school, when I took a Spanish class and I was like, I know this shit.
Yeah, you
like hold
you're
on, I'm
like,
oh,
instant
okay, yeah,
instant
this is
A.
easy. Yeah. I mean, and I took 6 years of Spanish after that. So I learned that half of the battle is with different languages and cultures is learning the culture itself and learning about the people and speaking to the people, learn how to speak to the people. And so now being Arabic, I've learned a little bit of Arabic. I've learned
That goes back to what you were saying, that typography.
Yeah.
Typography is an art.
Yeah.
Arabic is
It's
just
straight
that
lines.
is that is straight art.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't.
And so I mean, and the thing about it, when you become a business owner in America, you realize how other cultures have done it.
Uh-huh.
And one of my best friends I lived with, his family owned Carytown Tobacco.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and so
that place is huge now.
They got 28 stores up and down the East Coast.
Yeah.
And they are booming, you know, and like
Yeah.
I've gotten to learn how they do business and prioritize business and things like it's just like that's why I think I would do it. I've always seen myself like being like nomadic, like I'm a adventurous person. Like
Hmm.
I could like meet people and be friends. We became friends in a fucking Uber ride. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, so like
Yeah.
I can see myself in that seat a lot. But as far as business goes, I also help a lot of people like get their business off the ground and run it and do it better and things like that. I think I could do that anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just about like the language barrier or the cultural difference that I've never had a problem like learning and adjusting to like be able to do this other places.
That's dope. Have you gone out of the country at all?
I mean, I have, but not really off of business.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Just like cruises and family vacations, shit like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I've
Yeah.
been like Puerto Rico. I've been to Bahamas. I've been to Dominican Republic. Um, yeah, like I would do this. I have friends. Like as a business owner, you get to like befriend other business owners who have other businesses other places. So I
Yep.
have friends that have business in other places. They just don't use me for those businesses or
Right.
whatever. But like it might be like an Airbnb or something. But even that, like I find like okay, now there might be some marketing I can do for you or things like that. So
Hmm.
once I find that solid partner that's in another spot that I can like have somebody feet on the ground, I would go out there and like do some more work. You know, to
Yep.
answer your question.
Yeah. That's cool. I like that. I think we've done 2 hours. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
This was a good two. Like I
Yeah.
didn't feel like 2 hours,
It's
but
crazy.
I'm very long winded too, so I know I can just like chat,
Yeah.
like chat your head
Absolutely.
off. Yeah,
And that's what we're all about, is here to just make it feel as comfortable as possible, and learn more about you. And then also I learned a lot. And I can't wait to go back through the editing, and then I get to relearn, and then I go back and rewatch it again as a final watch through, and then that's when I watch it as a consumer.
yeah.
And then it's like, and then that's where I truly learn something, because I get it in the minute, in a moment.
We're just like talking,
Yep.
chatting in the
And
moment, but
then
then
and
like
then I go back to
later,
the editing, and then I go back to the consumer, and by the consumer portion I get it third time, and then I'm like, wow, okay, that's a good, that I like that. I like that. It's a unexpected education.
I appreciate it because like I'm now in my space of like trying to help educate people. You know,
Yeah.
like I've been a entrepreneur and a designer and artist for like almost 10 years now, and like really this past year has been like, all right, let's use our gift of gab a little more. Let's try to teach some people more and things like that. So I'm gonna be putting on a couple things. So I'm doing a few art shows this year at our event space center, 318 West Broad Street, and I'm also going to be doing a few design classes. So I'm be teaching designers or just business owners how to um, process their thoughts as ideas for business, and then also how to like design logos, design things for their business, do it better, and then like kind of step into marketing. The third tier of it is going to be marketing and sales. So
Awesome.
so yeah, that's coming soon later this year.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And then remind everyone about your website.
So yeah, curbsidebranddesign.com is the website. My business is Curbside Branding and Design. We're at Curbside Brand Design on Instagram. Yeah, man. And Amir Dennis Design is my personal Instagram. I have a art page. I have a clothing brand. A lot of stuff to check out, and I'm always open to do business with new ventures, different people. People, even if you don't think like we can find something to do, I'm sure there's something like we can mediate to
Yeah.
find like to help grow an audience.
Yep, absolutely. And once again, all of those will be in the description down below, as well as the song. And then appreciate you coming out and taking your time out of your life that you'll never get back. But it's going to impact some folks, I believe.
You might see some LSD podcast graphics come out soon.
You got that right.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm excited.
Yeah.
So right on. Thank you once again.
Of course.
All right.